Welcome to day 33. On this Friday of our Lenten observation, our Lent observance, we will be reflecting on the idea of Mount of Transfiguration. Our biblical passage for consideration is the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 1 through 13. But first, some things to consider on this 33rd day of Lent before we go into our biblical reading. Charles Fillmore has put forth some thoughts for us to hold in the forefront of our minds as we study his text, Keep a True Lent. The first question is, what precedes Transfiguration? What comes before Transfiguration? What happens when the mind is exalted in prayer? Third question, do we all have a body of light? Explain. And question number 4, how did Jesus transform his body? Jesus referred to us as children of light. I am a child of light. I have a mind filled with light, a body filled with light. I am shining, glorious, splendid. Matthew chapter 17. Matthew chapter 17, verses 1 through 13. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John, and led them up on a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his garments became as white as light. And behold, Moses and Elijah appeared to them, talking with him. Peter responded and said to Jesus, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you want, I will make 3 tabernacles here, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. While he was still speaking, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice from the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell face down to the ground and were terrified. And Jesus came to them and touched them and said, Get up and do not be afraid. And raising their eyes, they saw no one except Jesus himself alone. When they were coming down from the mountain, Jesus commanded them, saying, Tell the vision to no one until the Son of Man has risen from the dead. And his disciples asked him, Why then do the scribes say that Elijah must come first? And he answered and said, Elijah is coming and will restore all things. But I say to you that Elijah already came, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they wanted. So also the Son of Man is going to suffer at their hands. Then the disciples understood that he had spoken to them about John the Baptist. Thus ends the reading. We return now to Keep a True Lent by Charles Fillmore. This is our Lenten devotional for this Lenten season. We're on page 186. So let us begin to reflect on these ideas prepared for us. Transfiguration is always preceded by a change of mind. In Transfiguration, ideals are lifted from the material to the spiritual. Going up into the mountain to pray means an elevation of thought and aspiration from the mortal to the spiritual viewpoint. When the mind is exalted in prayer, the rapid radiation of mental energy causes a dazzling light radiation from all parts of the body, and especially the head. See, Charles Fillmore is speaking very literally here, not in the sense that this is something that you can physically behold with the naked human eye, just that something is physiologically occurring throughout the body. Even our so-called physical body reveals a radiant body, which Jesus referred to as sitting on the throne of his glory, which interlaces the trillions of cells of the organism and burns brightly. Jesus gave his disciples a glimpse of his radiant body when he was transfigured before them. His face did shine as the sun, and his garments became white as the light. He was very advanced in spiritual consciousness and was developed to a larger degree than anyone else in our race. But we all have that body of light, and its development is in proportion to our spiritual culture. Jesus did not go down to corruption, but by the intensity of his spiritual devotions, transformed every cell into its innate divine light and power. When John was in the spirit of devotion, Jesus appeared to him, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto burnished brass. Jesus lives today in that body of glorified light in a kingdom that interpenetrates the earth and its environment. Jesus is my way shower. In his name, I affirm my mind and body are radiant with the light of spirit, and I am triumphant, glorious, splendid. My mind and body are radiant with the light of spirit, and I am triumphant, glorious, splendid. My mind and body are radiant with the light of spirit, and I am triumphant, glorious, splendid. Thus ends our reflection for this 33rd day of Lent. Thank you for joining me once again, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Please now, beloved, peacefully depart, knowing this truth that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Thank you, God, in us, through us, as us, around us, through the Christ within. And so it is. Bye for now.